Welcome to Insight Builder channel, large language model automators, Python experts, and my dear friends. In this video, we are going to dive into Groq and LPU. So, can you tell me about Groq and LPU? That's what we are going to look into. First of all, Groq is a company that has introduced a kind of a new processing unit called as language processing unit. This company has been around for a while. It has been introduced in 2016, and the specialty is pretty interesting. So why Groq? One of the major specialties, it has got fastest inference. Yeah, you are hearing me right. I have tested it and it has got really fast inference because the LPUs, the processing units that are specific to Groq, these LPUs are not available to everybody. It's not GPU, again, it's not CPU, it's LPU. This LPU, the language processing unit, can take entire arrays and process it in a single go. It will not loop through the arrays and process the elements one by one. It will process it in a single go. You might actually think it is very similar to CUDA, but CUDA works in a different fashion. Here, the LPUs are trying to make it really easy to get the super fast inference. So what's the benefit? The agents become super fast. So let me complete the basic introduction and let me show you an example that Groq boasts about, in fact. And the next is the open source models are hosted in the cloud in GroqCloud. That is another one benefit. Open source models, like we have supported models like, just a second, let me zoom in here. We have Llama 20 billion, Mixtral 7 billion, and Gemma 7 billion. All these models are open, available for inference from the GroqCloud, that is, and where it is hosted on GroqCloud, and how to access. There is a Groq SDK available, and the examples of the applications using the GroqCloud can be found in this location. We'll be looking at the some of the applications in a couple of seconds. Apart from this, the OpenAI SDK compatible API is what is provided by Groq. So this has a huge benefit. Like for an example, most of the GPT related agents are using OpenAI SDK. So replacing the model inside the GPT pilot or GPT researcher or the agents that you might be aware of. Even I have taken a couple of videos on that GPT researcher, and I will be covering GPT pilot also. So in order to interface the agents with the open source models like Gemma, Llama 2 billion, and Mixtral 7 billion becomes way more easier with Groq, even when compared to other options that is available there like Llama or the open router, etc. Groq Labs has a very good and very fast inference. So when they connect with the agents, it becomes really fast. And finally, the Groq SDKs are integrated already with LangChain, Llama Index, and also it has its own, Groq has its own Python libraries that directly work with Python, JavaScript, etc. So these are the major benefits that we are going to have when it comes to Groq. Next, we are going to see some examples. Now, going to www.groq.com will directly lead you to this place of Groq Labs, and you will see there are lots of other projects. The project that we are interested is actually in GroqCloud. So you can sign in, and you will be able to get a playground like this, and you can start playing around. What I am interested right now is to look at the quick start. When you go into the documentation, let me zoom in a bit. When you go into the documentation and when you look at these things, you will find showcase applications. So click on the showcase applications or the examples, and you will see that there are lots of examples where the code as well as the example applications are also shared. If you click on the showcase applications, one of the major showcase application is the agents go burr with Groq. So this is one of the applications that got me hooked into agents, in fact, because I will show you right now. I'm showing this particular example, and this is free to use for anybody who is connecting with who is connecting over the Chrome browser or whichever browser. And if you have to just ask the question. So I am present in this place, and I'm going to ask how many moons does the Jupiter planet has, right? And I'm going to search it, and you'll see that it immediately initiates a thinking kind of an agent, and it's immediately completing it, and it's completed in 4.18 seconds. And here you will see that it is having 92 moons. And how confident I am that the answer is correct, that is another way to find it out. So if you go to Groq lab, the documentation again, and if you go to the examples that the showcase examples, you can actually see Findera. This is one of the Groq powered search engine. If you go to that search engine, and there you can ask the same question. So this is another one application, and you can ask the same question here: how many moons does Jupiter have? And you'll see that you will get super fast, blazingly fast outputs. And you can see the total moons on for Jupiter right now is 92. You might be surprised that, okay, does Jupiter have that many moons, and what is happening there? Because see, at the end of the day, astronomy is all full of surprises, right? But the most surprising aspect is the way the search engine actually collects the facts, provides the supporting documents at the top, and it's giving the data that is directly required for you. It is giving from YouTube, it's giving from Universe Today, and various other supporting sites. So, and it is fast, right? This is the one of the major benefits of working with Groq. And let's go back and let us look at the quick start. So quick start actually gives you access, a way to interact with Groq models. So before we dive into the libraries and look at it, let us actually look at the models that is available. So if you look at the models that is available inside the GroqCloud that is hosted, is Meta's Llama 70 billion, and I think I made a mistake. In my presentation it is not 20 billion. Here it should be 70 billion. Just a second, sorry about that. And we have 70 billion and with 4096 tokens, and we have Mixtral 8 cross 7 billion, 32,768 tokens, and finally we have the Google Llama 7-bit with 8,192 tokens. So here the point I wanted to make is that most of the open source applications has been already ported. Not most of it, just 3 of it has been ported to LPU, and it does these whatever you saw here, these are all running on these open source models. In fact, I think this is running on Groq, Mixtral, LangChain, and Tavilai. So I had discussed a separate video on Tavilai and how Tavilai is integrating with LangChain, and how in fact the way this particular application is working is based on GPT researchers library. So that is a discussion that I have done on GPT researcher also. So take a look at that videos, you will be able to come up to speed in no time. That's one of the major points I wanted to discuss and introduce when it comes to Groq. Also, there is a reason why I'm introducing this, because GPT pilot and new agents are getting built day in and day out, and there are agents like Devin which has come out, which can build entire apps in by using the prompts that we provided to it. But we need to make the things faster and also cheaper, right? So Groq Labs gives one of the cheapest inferences with one of the best models available. Excuse me. So this is about the overall introduction, and now comes the important point, the endpoints. So let's go back to the presentation, and if you go to the Groq Cloud's documentation, if you scroll down, you will see that there are libraries, there are API keys and rate limits. You can get the API key once you have the user generated in Groq Cloud. It's not going to take a lot of time. You can register using your Google account or GitHub account. The point is that once you get the API keys, then you can start working with the Groq libraries, that is Python and JavaScript. You can install using pip install Groq, and you can start working on this kind of a code directly. And also you can work with the various integrations like LangChain. So if you go into LangChain, you'll see that LangChain has its own documentation that you can review. I'll be sharing a couple of code about that in next couple of minutes. So let's now dive into the code. So here is the code snippet that I have taken it from the documentation that you have seen, and this is using the LangChain core and LangChain Groq. So we have to install the necessary libraries for this to work, and the documentation that we saw earlier, you will be able to get the details. Just a second, I'll be sharing you that also. So here you see that we can go to Python LangChain manual, and there you can see you have to install this LangChain Groq. It's an interface library that you need to have before you start using the LangChain Groq module, LangChain core and LangChain Groq, and from there you will get the chat Groq, and from chat Groq you are going to call the model, and from there you are going to run the inferences. So this particular notebook will provide you more information once you start running the code. The point I want to make is that it's very similar to running GPT 3.5 Turbo or GPT 4. None of the things are modified, just the model name is modified, and you can get the model name, the details from the documentation. If you go back here, you can see that the model name that you are providing here, you can get it from here and you can start using it, and then you can start sending the messages. And what we are going to do right now is to look at one of the options. So here I will be getting the input, and we will see how the output works. So just give me, and we are going to ask the same question. Tell me, okay, in this case I'm going to ask, tell me where is the moon now. So let's see, I am a space enthusiast, so let us see how the output is. I'm going to go into this particular repo will be shared with you guys, and you can execute this code and see. Explore Groq. Also, as I was telling you that I am also exploring a couple of other libraries like the GPT pilot and also Argilla. I'll be updating that in a couple of next videos. So Python LangChain, just a second, LC and Groq. And the moment I execute this, it's not going to ask me any input. The text, the prompt is already provided here, and it will come straight down to this particular chain, and it will invoke it. As you saw that it took a bit of a time to load the models, but excuse me, but the inference wise it's way faster. Also, if you guys want to experience the actual speed, you can try to work with GPT researcher also and see how fast it is. You can just give me a second. So one of the interesting findings that you will get if you fork this app. So if you click on fork this app, it will fork into the GitHub repo where the Streamlit app that you just now saw was present. What you can do is you can get into the application there, and there you will actually find another one Python library, Python script called as app.py. So let me go to the repository. So here you will see app.agent. If you go to the st demo in this location, let me zoom in a bit. You will see there is one more app.py. This app.py also has its something called as self-discover, and also it has got one more option. One more option called as text generation. So if you say tell me a joke, it will actually generate a joke, and it does it really fast. And also if you say self-discover, and in this case I am asking it to write a Django app for task management and provide me the code. I'm using Mixtral 8 billion model here, and if you execute run, you will see that it is super fast. It starts creating the relevant reasoning, and then it goes above and starts working on the reasoning modules for that specific activities, and it implements the steps that you need to proceed. And comes the interesting part, it starts writing the code, and it has done everything at really fast pace. Yeah, it's not perfect. I'm not saying that it's perfect, because we did not give a lot of details here. We just gave what 10 to not even 10 words of prompt, right? But the training, we are also using an open source model. It's not a closed source. It's an open source Mixtral, and also you can try the same thing with the Llama 7 billion and see what happens. And the speed is similar to what we saw in Mixtral. So the model wise difference is not there. we might actually think, okay, the model wise difference will be there. But in case of Llama 2, the step 3 took a bit of more time because the reasoning was taking additional time. But you can see the code is also provided, and if you are from the Java, sorry, if you are from Django background, you will know that what kind of things you need to modify, and you can see that all the views.py, settings.py, urls.py, the models.py, everything gets updated here, including the forms.py. The prioritization has been also implemented for you guys. The Gantt chart, all these steps is shown to you here, right here. So one of the main reasons why I wanted to dive into Groq is that I'll be using in the next video, I'll be using Groq to introduce GPT pilot. So GPT pilot, you can actually, it was designed to work with GPT-4, but you can try to interface that with Groq also. So you can see that it has almost written the complete app for you, and that too with a very, very simple prompt, right? So the point I wanted to make here is that there are many ways to ease your work these days, and Groq is one of the best option that is available. And as of now, the API is open for free usage, and they have got the GroqCloud where you can play in the playground also, and you can interface using their documentation. And as I showed you right now, you can work with their apps that you saw right now. This particular app is running in my local host by using the this particular app.py Python script. You can actually review this also. The script is pretty straightforward. Also, as I already told you, I came across GPT researcher when I was researching for researching Groq. So it's one of like I went ahead and did search for something, but I ended up learning something new altogether. So keep your minds and eyes and ears open, and be ready to learn new stuff. So let's go back to the presentation. So the point I wanted to make here is that let's go back here. You can see that we can actually get the best out of both the worlds. Like, you can get the speed, at the same time you can get the output that you want, and you can get it from the open source models. You cannot ask for more, right? Obviously you cannot do, but yeah, there are certain things you will have to still do a lot of tweaking, because the models are open source, so the outputs may not be that perfect when it comes, but the things are improving. There is a lot of improvements that is happening in the open source arena, and a lot of development is coming from the reinforcement learning and aligning the large language models. So I hope that you learned a thing or two from this discussion. Do leave a like and subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions or comments, do leave it in the comment section. I'll be trying to providing you the feedback as soon as possible. With that said, I would like to leave this video with 4 words, that is Groq, practice, practice. See you guys. Have a great time.